Hello and welcome to another video. In this video, we are going to share with you how we got a Canadian PR. Anything and everything that could go wrong went wrong in our PR process. Stay till the end to figure out how you can save yourself a similar hassle and maybe some dollars.
This video has everything: suspense, drama, thrill, PR rejection, lost passports, airport closures, and finally a happy ending with us flying a business class. And no, it was not a free upgrade.
The story began in January of 2018 when Nikita and I got married at a very beautiful destination wedding in the middle of nowhere in India.
After the wedding in early February, I had to fly back to Atlanta to join my office. However, at that time, Anish was still waiting to get his US visa appointment. So he had to stay back in Mumbai. At that time, when we were apart for a few days, Anish came up with an idea to apply for Canadian PR as a backup option. Thankfully, towards the end of February, my office allowed me to work from India. So at that time, I flew back to Mumbai and we were reunited again.
Now that Nikita was back, we had to take our IELTS exam. We didn't care where we took it, we just cared that we took it as early as possible. Now, the earliest possible date that we got was in Bhopal, and coincidentally, it happened to be on the same day as Holi. Now, at this point, Nikita and I hadn't celebrated Holi for about 5 years, and we were looking forward to actually celebrating that year. But giving IELTS was also very important, so we decided to go with that date anyway. And instead, what we ended up doing was celebrate Rang Panchami.
So in April, after getting the exam result, we started our PR process. Now, Canadian PR is merit based and they have a scoring system. We got our CRS score to be 481, which was well above the cutoff. So we got invitation to apply on 25th of April.
About a month later, in May of 2018, we had to get our medical checkups done. Now keep this date in mind because this is going to be very important in the very near future.
While we were waiting for our medical examination report, we collected all the other remaining documents. And then as soon as we got our report, we submitted our application. At this time, we were confident that we would get the PR, all our documentation was in order, everything was done correctly according to us, and we just had to wait.
Finally, in August of 2018, we got our PR result. And it was absolutely not what we expected. Our PR was rejected.
The reason for our PR rejection was our marriage certificate. If you remember how we started this video, we got married. And if you saw where we got married, it was a destination wedding in the middle of nowhere. So the wedding venue comes under Gram Panchayat jurisdiction. And when they were making our marriage certificate in English, they forgot to add date on it. And you would think anybody getting a marriage certificate would definitely check date on it. But we were careless and we never thought that we had to check if the date was there or not. And that was the reason why our PR was rejected.
So after a lot of back and forth, we finally were able to get our updated marriage certificate with the correct wedding date on it. After that, we reapplied for our PR process. But wait, the story doesn't end there. There's more interesting stuff right after this.
While we were waiting again for our PR result, Anish got his US visa appointment date and he got his visa. So then we had to fly back to US. Finally, on Jan 3rd, when we were already in US, we received the good news. Our application was approved for PR and they requested our passports to be sent. But wait here, It was not that easy.
The way the system works once they ask you to send the passports is that you have to send it to an address that they mention based on the country you applied from. Since we both had applied from India, we were required to send our passports to a Canadian embassy anywhere in India. The big problem now was we weren't there anymore. We were in the US.
In order to get our contact details and our address updated, we had to reach out to an organization called IRCC. This is the organization which handles all immigration related matters for Canada. So it was almost February when they reached out to us. We got everything in order and then we sent our passports to Canada. But wait, that is not a happy ending right now.
The plan was simple. Send our passports from the US to Canada, have the Canadian embassy stamp our visas and send it back to us. Sounds very easy, right? But nothing comes easy to us. This is our Canadian PR story and it cannot go without any sort of drama.
So by now we were tracking every single step online and it was working perfectly fine. We sent our passports to Canada, they stamped it and they sent it back to us. But rethink, this did not go as planned. So while our passports were coming back from Canada, somehow the courier company lost both our passports.
So the first thing we did was looked everywhere for the package. We checked the leasing office, we checked the mail room, we checked with our community leasing office people as well in case they had seen it somewhere. We put it on the Facebook channel for the community just in case someone else had picked it up by mistake. And also tried calling the delivery company. And all they could say is we dropped it off at the correct location and then we are not responsible for it after that. But we didn't give up hope yet. We waited 1 day, 2 days, even 3 days just in case it showed up magically. But after the 3rd day, we had to call it and our passports were officially lost.
We both were in a panic situation. We just had lost both our passports in a foreign country. And we had multiple visas on both our passports. But there were 2 visas out of all the other visas that we were concerned the most. One was the US visa and the second was the most recent visa, which was the Canadian visa. So we waited for at the max a week and then we finally pulled the plug and we filed a police report. After filing the police report, we went to the Indian embassy in Atlanta and applied for a new passport.
Because we lost our passports and we had a US visa in them, we had to call the US embassy in Mumbai, which was our issuing embassy, and let them know of the same. They were required to cancel our US visa to prevent misuse of it in case someone finds our passports. Our next steps then were to let the Canadian embassy know that we had lost them and request a replacement visa.
Luckily, we got our new Indian passports in just under 15 days. We couldn't apply for Tatkal service because that service is only available in India. However, we were worried that we might not get our passport soon. But luckily, the Indian embassy in Atlanta was very quick and we got our passports in under 15 days. So that was one thing that really worked for us in this whole journey.
Now what was left was for us to send our passports back to Canada, get the new visa stamped and returned back to us. But of course, we did not use the exact same courier company that we used the last time. Once bitten, twice shy.
Yeah, even if somebody was going to offer us $1 million, we would have never used the same courier company. So finally, in the beginning of May, we received our package from Canada. This time we received the package successfully. It had both our passports with one-time visa from Canada, and it also had one more document, which was COPR. Now COPR is confirmation of PR. Based on this document, you can fly into Canada and finish off your PR formalities. But wait, there's more. The COPR was expiring on 31st of May. So now in just few weeks we had to make a decision and fly to Canada if we wanted to keep our PR active.
You would think flying from the US to Canada is not such a big deal, right? It's just a 3-hour flight. Wrong. You see, when we reported to the US Embassy that our passports were lost, they revoked our US visa. Now, a visa is only required to enter the country, which means we could continue staying in the US as long as we had a valid I-797 document. Fine. But once we left the US, we couldn't come back until we got a new visa.
So at this point, leaving US was not a good option for us. So the next option was to reach out to IRCC and see if they can extend the validity of our COPR. They came back to us and the reply was not what we were expecting. They could not extend the validity of our COPR. You remember earlier in this video we said we had our medical examination in Mumbai in May 2018. So COPR is only valid for 1 year from the month when you did your medical examination. So for us, COPR was only valid till 31st of May 2019.
So now our only remaining option was to visit Canada before May 31st. So we had to scramble to figure out if there were any US embassies in Canada that had a visa appointment within the next month. Unfortunately, the earliest possible appointment was in September, which was 4 months away.
So staying in Canada and waiting until we get our US visa appointment date was not an option for us because first of all, staying in Canada is in itself very expensive, and while we were staying in Canada, we also had to keep our US house and pay rent for it. So it quickly became not an option for us.
Out of curiosity, we then looked at dates available in India, and the earliest possible appointment we got was in August. At this point, we were running out of options and we almost gave up hope on getting our Canadian PR.
Yeah, we were so disheartened that we decided that let's just leave all of it and just live our life in Atlanta. We just realized this video is becoming too large. So unfortunately, we have to break this story into 2 parts. In the second part, we are going to cover and finish up the remaining story, and stay tuned because there are going to be more twists and turns, and we are going to talk about hurricane and how we ended up in business class.
If you like this video, click the like button and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And stay tuned for our next videos.
Bye.
Bye.